Alright guys, before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and hit y'all with the tutorial for winding up the self-winding Ryobi Weedwacker. Obviously you want to remove the cap first, and this is exactly how I do it. If you do it differently, good for you, but let's get started. There is a couple ways you could do this. You could do it with their supplied lines, which is exactly to cut or exactly the length that you should cut it, or you could do it with this. This is going to give you much more value and a lot more string to put in there, but the way I measure it is 2 arms length. So I grab it here, one, two, then I bring it back maybe a little bit. This one itself comes with a self cutter. Open that up. I've never used it. Actually, I got some scissors over here, but we'll go ahead and mess around with that a little bit. Opens right up. Feed it through, and essentially you're just supposed to, just like that. Now I have my string. So correction on the intro, you don't exactly have to remove the cap. I'm just gonna use it to show you guys how it actually works. So obviously the line got tied up, ran out. Take this out, trash. And then from here, the most important thing that you want to remember is that this has a peephole right there, and you see how you could see through it. Let me shift this way, camera angles. You want to ensure that hole lines up with this hole. If I can get it, there you go. When it slides in, because there's a way that you could slide it in and they don't line up once it twists. So if I try to peek through there, it's not going to look through. So these teeth, you have to hit it slightly out and let it rotate itself in, and then essentially you're just looking for that peephole. If it lines up, it should line up. Use the sun or the light from the outside. Make sure it's seated all the way. And now I'm able to see all the way through. So that's key point number 1. You see all the way through. That means you're set to go. From there, you just grab this, line up the notches here. Obviously, one says locked, the other one is just an arrow, meaning it's unlocked. Make sure it does not shift in your hand. And then you essentially put those arrows together, and then you lock it in place. If I'm able to get it on, or the film on video, whatever. Should wear my other glove, but this thing, I've used this thing a lot. Replaced the spark plug, did all that, just put fuel in it. Let me try doing it with the glove. And the only reason I need a glove is because these have these grips on them, and my hand keeps sliding, so that might help a little bit. Or I'm just being a weak little girl, but there you go, boom. Now it's locked. Lock, lock. From here, I still see all the way through. So now I'm gonna grab my line and I'm gonna feed it exactly through that hole. You might have to wiggle it a little bit if it's curved, but as you can see, it comes right out. Now from there, pretty self-explanatory. You just want to make sure that the ends are exactly the same on both sides. The right side needs a little bit more. It's not going to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, but just to avoid wasting as much string as you possibly can. From there, you hold it tight, just like so. Then you grab the winder. Do not lose this, guys. You could do it with your hands, but it's a lot more difficult. And then you're going to see that it starts feeding itself through. both ends as I wind. Now after you do it about 4 or 5 times, you're going to want to pull the string, and this will shift a little bit out. You don't want loose string inside your weed whacker. And if I say 4 or 5 times, you'll be able to feel the notches that I pointed out earlier. Stop, pull, comes out a little bit. And then essentially you're going to aim for stopping where the cutoff blade is at. You could cut it off yourself, but here's it shifting when I pull it. Shift it a little bit. So you want to do it every 4 or 5 times, at least I do. I've never done it towards the end. I'm not really interested in trying it and then having to do it all over. I could just do it every 4 or 5 times. As you close, you can see right there. One more maybe. One more. And then obviously I pull it. It goes. But it's really that easy. So now this one's gonna get cut off quite a bit, and this one is not. And this is why I wanted to tell you, minimize your loss of string. You could do it yourself. These are some pretty shitty, pretty crappy scissors, but you line it up to the blade like I'm doing such as. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that clip with Miss America, but such as. Again, pretty crappy. I'll probably grab the other. Just use this. It's a bonus. Feed it through. Squeeze, cuts right off. And then the other one, I could run it and it'll cut it off, but I am the way I am. I'll just cut it myself. Just a slight cut. I'm dropping shit. But honestly, guys, that's really all there is to it. I might cut it off a little bit. Now from there, when you start running the machine, you're supposed to bump this. You see how it goes in? And it'll release more string. So when you're running it, just pay attention to the line, do maybe half an acre, and then stop it on the ground while it's running, because this will keep turning. So you just stop it on the ground, you see, okay, my string's running low, and essentially all you gotta do is tap it to the ground, and you'll hear it winding out by itself as it's running. So you run it, you press the gas, it's spinning, tap it on the ground, and it self-expands to the length. Now if you hear like a little crackling, that means that this line went too far, so you're at length now. Now you could choose to stop it and double verify, but as soon as you hear the crackling, that means that this line is getting cut right here. But that's pretty much it. It's a very, very effective tool. Again, I've had it for maybe 2.5 years. Ran it hundreds of hours, like literally hundreds of hours. So Ryobi is pretty reliable. I did mess up the spark plug and a couple other things, but I ordered the parts online and it was able to run again. But ultimately, that's pretty much it. After that, you just got to make sure, after the line runs out, make sure that those lines are in line. Same thing, repeat the process. But hopefully you guys learned something. It's pretty simple, but I know I had a hard time, like a really, really hard time figuring that out. So hopefully I made your life easier, but that is all. Okay, peace out, bye.